This video is a memory recalled by Louise Lundgren, the daughter of Erika Mattsson, who is the wife of Jonas Lundgren. Louise being the youngest of the children, and her reminiscence is about the time toward the end of her mother's life.
Wow. Grandma often talked about your mom, and it was kind of a burden, the memory of her death when she died of cancer.
Yes, yes, very much so. And my dad and Ida, your mother, was going with my mother to Omaha for surgery for this cancer. And my dad was sitting in the waiting room, and he happened to hear about this lady that had come to have this surgery and how it should never be cut out with a knife. It should be burnt out and done other. And you know, he got up early the next morning and they canceled the surgery and took a train to St. Joseph, Savannah, Missouri.
Wow.
And she had the surgery, but it was burnt out instead of cut out, just like he'd heard the people say. And then that was, and she always went on the train at midnight. That's when that train would leave. And I think that's why I always had a horror for the train. I wasn't so old, you know. And how long this cancer lasted, I can't tell you either. But anyway, her arm, see, they removed the breast and took under the arm and removed quite a bit. And his arm swelled up, and she went back the second time to this Savannah, Missouri hospital, and they took some more. And then she came home, and how long an interval between each time, I don't remember. But then she went back a third time, and they told her that it was okay, she should just go home and not work so hard and not carry heavy things and things like that. So they looked for it to be healing, and different people came over and prayed over her and things like that. And some would put on oil, I remember it. I was just... Then the fourth time she went down, they said they just couldn't do anything for her. And they was always taking the train at night, at midnight, and that was a horrible memory.
Horrible memory.
Yeah.
Did she die at home, or?
Yes, she died at home. I have to tell you about her death. It was on January 19th, a beautiful winter day, thawing, and they were going to shell corn. And they were getting the land up. My dad, Wally, was young, but I was 14 then. And Eldon, Wally, was 3 years older than me. And anyway, she asked that some of the girls or somebody would ask my dad to come in, which he did. And she seemed to realize she was going to die that afternoon. And so they went quick and got Selma. She lived over by Clarno. And they went and got Selma. And of course the rest of us were there because, well, I believe Ida and Andrew were married though. They were. And they were there, and Inroy was there, and we all sat around. She was in the dining room in Mrs. Nelson's house there. That's where we lived.
Okay.
And She had a kind of a day bed that she laid in the daytime all the time. And the bedroom was not too far away, but this way she was where we were. And then she asked Roy to read the 14th chapter of St. John. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, ye may be also. And after that, I sang Rock of Ages. We always sang and read the Bible to her. She said that was the only thing that soothed her pain. So I sang for my mother a lot, and others did too, and read for her. And I know Henry's father was a real religious man too, and it wasn't so much walking them days, and he would walk over, and I can just hear, although Henry and I weren't going together or anything at that time, but they would have religious visits about the Lord, and he'd pray when he come over and things like that, which meant a lot to her.
So when you read that scripture and sang that Rock of Ages, then was that when she...
She passed away that afternoon, just a few minutes before she died. This daybed was out of wood, and it had a kind of a sideboard to it, you might say. So she could take a hold of it and lift herself to sit up. And she sat up and looked down at the beautiful weather and everything, and she leaned back and said, Jesus sorio samnadien. In Jesus' source I fall asleep.
Wow.
That was her death.
And that was her last words. Whew. That's a story I have never heard.
No,
And that I'm really glad you told us.
And I remember it as if it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was another story I wanted to tell you about that came in my thought and then it disappeared. I don't know just now what it was, but it was something that was well to be remembered.
What did your mom like to do in her free time, if she had any?
Read her Bible.
Read her Bible.
And she did some knitting. She knit stockings for us. And of course the thread would be kind of heavy. And I remember...
Wool socks?
Wool socks.
Wool socks.
Long. And they make the shoes so tight. But I had to wear them. I went 2 miles to walk to school. Not exactly comfortable.
No.
But we knew it was a must.
Yeah.
What did you like to do with Grandma as you grew up, Louise? What were some of your memories of her when she was younger?
I didn't have a grandma.
No, I mean of our Grandma, Ida.
Oh, Ida. Oh.
Yeah.
She told me that she remembered so well the morning I was born. She went out to help with chores, I suppose, milk. And she said she stopped and scraped the frost off the window of the bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how old was Ida, and what was the age difference?
It was, each one of us were 3 years apart.
3 years apart, yeah.
Yeah, we were all about 3 years apart. And Wally and I were just like 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah. Did you like to work indoors or outdoors when you were young, as far as the kind of work you did?
Oh, I think I'd rather work indoors, although I did some outdoor work. I know I helped shop mostly after Henry and I was first married, though. I would drive the tractor, and you know, we didn't have a binder that was really made to be. We had the horse-driven binder fixed so the tractor could pull it.
Yeah.
And we had an old Alice Chalmers tractor, and that's what I drove. And Henry sat on the binder to trip the bundles. And the kids, when they got older, of course, old enough, they'd shock as best they could. Yeah. And I remember we were out cutting grain, and the grain was pretty good. And we stopped for lunch. We'd always bring lunch along. And it was a cornfield just across the way. And it was just beautiful. It was like a wall and ears, and just, it was in the green stage, but we were remarking of what a beautiful cornfield. It hailed that night.
No.
Corn was gone.
Gone.
That beautiful field was gone. But I don't know, we didn't take it that hard. Lord knows best.
Yeah. Well, when you were young, as a child at home, did you help your mother a lot then? Was that your job, or what sort of work or role did you remember having?
I remember when my mother was sick, and she taught me how to bake bread, because that was a must them days. And she was laying in this day bed that I was telling you about, and she told me to bring in everything that she told me that would go into that bread. And I had set the yeast the night before. We had them hard square cakes of yeast that you'd first soak the yeast, and then you'd take your lukewarm water and salt and sugar and put in that and dissolve that yeast. And when that got bubbly, you'd thicken it a little, and you'd have it in a deep crock so it could raise at night. Then the next morning is when I brought in all the stuff on the dining table, and then she told me just how to do it, to stir it in, and how much of each thing to put in. I made nicer bread then than I could ever think of doing now.
Did you make connected bread too?
No, I didn't. My mother used to do that, but I didn't do that till after I was married. Quite a bit of work with that, but the dough would be the same, but you had to roll it so much. Yeah. That was the good old days.
Them's were the good old days.
Now here's the question I've been waiting to ask for so long. What was it that you and I had talked about in Swedish that us kids couldn't understand?
That's a good one. Probably a lot of things. Yeah. I remember though too. Of course, this is just precious memories. It was no hard feelings. But when Selma was first married, she liked Abby come and stay with her. I just thought I went and stayed in Selma a little bit too much. I should stay home. Of course, now when I think about it, it makes me feel they must have liked me.
Yes, for sure.
You know,
Name your sisters and brothers again. I heard them, but I...
well, Amanda, the older, and Selma, Ida, Annie, or some called her Anna, but she never liked that as well as Annie. Annie, Waldemar, when she was called, and Louise.
And Louise. And you were the youngest.
And here I'm living to be the oldest.
And you are,
And I was kind of sickly all my life. Yeah, I was. I had stomach problems, and I remember we'd go to church or we'd go to some party for the soldiers that were going to leave for the army. And I'd be sick, and my folks would have to, and sometimes they'd lift me over the church bench. I'd vomit, and then they'd come and take me, and it must have been crowded because I thought, oh, I was too big to be lifted over the church bench like that. I didn't like it very good. But I was sick a lot growing up. I suppose that was one reason why I was so sick the first 3 months of my pregnancies. I would vomit. I tell you, I vomited green bile and even streaks of blood in it.
oh, so you suffered a lot through those.
Yes, I did that.
And now you were telling me, what is it, November or December 2nd is your birthday coming?
December 6th.
6th. I knew I had it
Yeah.
wrong.
December 6th, 1906 is when I was 06.
Louise, do you remember any of the details of how Ida and Andrew met? Was there any story with that you can think of?
Yeah, I remember when they started over together. She'd gone with another guy from Valley Springs for quite a long time, but that was broken up. And then she went with, what was it, Otis, and the Johnson family.
Otis Knudsen?
She went with him a little bit,
Really?
but he died from flu that year. I think that was Otis. Elmer.
Elmer
He was
Knudsen.
older than
Okay.
Elmer.
Was that a brother to Otis?
John. I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But it was Elmer.
Elmer.
And he died when that flu was so bad. Well, then she started to go with Andrew right after that. And how long they went together before they got married, I don't remember. But you know, I dream about Ida a lot.
Yeah.
Her and I worked together a lot, yeah. Of course, I loved Annie and Wally. They're all so precious.
Yeah.
To you. Yeah, precious memory. I'll linger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heard the story once they met on the Valley Road and Grandma had a flat tire or something.
Well, that could be, but I don't know anything about it. Could
She
be.
won't confirm or deny the rumor.
Don't have
Yeah.
any proof on that, I guess.
No.
Yeah. How big a farm was your dad living?
I don't know if I can even tell you that. I think it's a little bit bigger than, what is it they call it?
Was it a quarter section? Or?
Quarter section. It's either a little bit more or a little bit less, but
Okay.
I never got interested in
That
stuff like
wasn't-
that, no. So I can't.
You live 3 miles south of Center, is that about?
2.
2 miles. So when you went to church, you took the wagon or sleigh, bobsleigh?
Bobsleigh, oh, how I remember. And they had a little homemade sled. It was just a little wooden sled with those runners, you know, that were so slick. And then my dad would throw a robe over us. Going to school too, that's so he'd take us and cover us from the cold. And I was one that still have a phobia of being closed in.
Oh.
But of course I had the other kids with me, so I thought I was safe. But I never liked that idea very much.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you go in the summer then? You went by horse then too?
We had a surrey with a friend on top.
Oh.
And what I remember so special about that was Wally always hated to go to funerals. And one time, when we were going up that hill up towards the road that turns and go towards our church, my folks stopped before they got to the corner and let him go back home. Because they'd listened to him not wanting to go so many times.
He walked then?
Yeah, he walked back. I remember I would have liked to walk back and be with him, but I guess he was supposed to go alone. So he walked back and stayed home. He just never liked to go, and so I suppose because I felt sorry for him going back alone that I never forgot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Alma was one of Andrew's sisters then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and well, it would take me a while. He was courting Elsie Schrader for a long time.
Elsie Schrader.
She turned out to be a real religious girl, and when she stepped out on him, with a guy she knew. Otherwise, they were quite serious, but it was a guy that was with the thrashing crew that she knew real well, and I suppose they just went to reminisce and things like that, but once was enough for him, so that was it.
That was it, yeah.
So then after that, he started to go with Alma, and
How were they able to visit with one another from Swedish and Norwegian backgrounds? Did they have English in that time, or?
when we were out in Elvis last night.
Yeah. How was it? Oh.
When you were younger,
Yeah.
when you were dating, or when like Andrew and Ida was dating, one is Norwegian and one was Swede. Did they talk?
I suppose they talked English most of the time.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I know when we were out to Sweden this last time, why, when I got with the Swedish people, that came back to me. So I was kind of like queen for a day. They set up a big special table, and I sat by that, and then the others were, and they would ask me questions. And they had really not heard the story of Amanda drowning and all of that. So they were so thankful that I had come and revealed what happened to Amanda, because they knew her from Sweden, you know. And I'd sit there and I could hear, you see, Eldon and Arliss were with us to Sweden, and I could hear them say, "Where does she get that stuff? Where does she get that stuff?" They said they'd never heard me talk like that, and so they couldn't imagine that I remembered. But you know, it came back when I had someone to visit with. It came back to me, so it was very easy to communicate back and forth.
Yeah.
And then they teased me I was queen for a day.
Yeah. Did you, can you tell me about your mother and father? Are they buried at Center? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're buried at Center there.
And even Manda too.
And Manda is as well?
The little one that found it up. She's got a stone, little footstone of her own.
Okay. Do you know where that is in the cemetery?
Yes, I sure do. And then they put a little flower out there for Memorial Day.
Is it in the children's section? I mean, there's a kind of an area at the front there that's a lot of noticed some children, but I didn't know where it was.
Well, it's kind of in the middle of the cemetery.
Okay.
And it says Lundgren on the big stone. And then it's my mother and father. And then it's Amanda over
Okay,
like
so
this.
she's with them then.
And,
Okay. Okay.
and Henry, we have a stone. That was one of the hardest things that I went through, was getting that stone after Henry had passed away.
Yeah.
One thing I was kind of short of money, because it'd taken a lot of money. We didn't have insurance. And Henry was the last year. Henry was in and out of the hospital.
Yeah. Terrible.
That last year he lived. And that took a lot of money. And then I wanted to get that stone. And to get a decent stone, that took a lot of money. So I was kind of saving for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What were some of your dad's favorite things to do, Louise? What did he like to do? Dad talks about how strong he was sometimes.
He liked to carve with wood about like the way Andrew did.
Oh.
He was the one that started with those naked ray rolling pins.
Oh, really?
And that's where your dad got the idea.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jonas started with those rolling
Yeah,
pins.
yeah.
Oh, he made those.
I think I've got one.
Oh,
that he made.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you buy a real rolling pin and then cut all those little necks in there.
Yeah.
What did you do on a long, cold winter night when it was kind of dark out? Did you have lanterns? And could you see?
We had the lanterns, is right. We had a gas lantern. And you know, Arliss and Helen remember studying in just lights before we got electricity. That seems like in the new era of our life. But,
Yeah.
and to get something cool, we had 2 cisterns. And we drank the water out of the one cistern, so we'd try to use the other one if it was cold. And it was much colder down in the cistern. So I never sunk it down, but Henry did. And then we had over at, before I was married, when we were kids, across the way, and that Nelson home where Gladys Nelson owns it now, you know. Why, we had a storm cellar. It was all made out of rock and had doors that opened this way. You could open one first and then the other one. And boy, that's where it was cool. And we'd keep butter down there and our milk and cream and everything and that was really a cool place. I walked out there one time when I drove up there when nobody was home to see what, but you couldn't hardly even, it just grown over that stone.
That's still on the farm where your dad homesteaded.
Well, my dad didn't homestead, that was his uncle
Oh, yeah.
that built that home that they came to.
But that's where this
live with me.
double door,
Yeah,
no
Yeah.
kidding, right over in there.
yeah, and it's just across from the house this way.
Yeah.
Are there any remnants left there, do you think? or not?
I didn't even dare to try to open it.
Yeah.
I suppose the doors would just break. Or like,
Did you ever, you're talking about storm cellars through your whole life, did you
Yeah.
ever get close to a bad
yeah,
storm?
we'd go down there if it looked real vicious. Yeah.
Did you ever have any tornadoes or anything come
No.
close, or did you avoid that? Just hailstorms?
Yeah. And they weren't big like these ones we had last year. Oh, they were big stones. We put 3 of them in the refrigerator because we thought nobody'd believe us. And we had them there for months. That was kind of terrible. We just, the two of us, and it was somebody else, but I don't remember who it was, stood there in awe.
Yeah.
It came down fast, and the hailstones were large, and
So the storms seem worse now than they were a long time ago, huh?
that's the worst one I'd ever seen.
When we take Louise home tonight, we should go by that
Oh,
homestead.
that would
Would you like to
be,
do
yeah, I'd
that?
like to do that.
Better do that while it's still light.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this up and go do that?
Do that.
Oh,
Well, that's what Dad said. He thought the storm cellar was over.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk over there.
Don't fall
Don't
in.
fall in it though.
Oh yeah, here's the storm cellar. Mom, here's the storm cellar. Yeah. My goodness, look at that.
Septic, no, so don't dig around in there. Yeah, don't dig around, that's a septic.
Okay.
What do they call it?
Septic, kind of.
Oh, a septic tank, huh?
Well, look at that. Look at that, Doc.
Let me see if I can get closer here.
You can see it. Look, get down in there. You can see there's a door. See? Isn't that something?
So there was a door there and everything, yeah?
Sure. I suppose there were steps at one time.
Yeah. So this was an old storm cellar that they used to protect themselves when they were
Yeah.
worried about storms, and then they also
Water, cool, and
kept everything cool in there and out here. Right next to a kind of a little lake, or a stream, I should say. I wonder what this little creek is here.
oh, what, a little trick of some kind.
Yeah. So, well, now we found it, the
Yeah.
Jonas Lundgren storm cellar, huh? You should have a dedication ceremony there.
We should. This is flowering plots here.
Still kicking.
Yeah, all right.
I was kind of his pet. I was 5.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't live through having.
And that ended our time together that evening for Louise and all of us to reminisce about the good old days, the days when those that first settled this country were alive and among us and still are in our memories.